Today we will talk about neurofeedback game for speech sound learning in foreign language. Learning language, a foreign language is difficult for adults before one is able to speak or understand a language for communication. She must learn to discriminate the speech sounds of that language and form categories is necessary. When people learn foreign languages, they find it difficult to perceive speech sounds which don't exist in their native language. For example, native Japanese speakers are usually unable to perceive the difference between the L and R sound in English, and it often requires significant training and attention. Here, many studies have shown that auditory discrimination ability is improved through a significant amount of behavioral training, while the mismatch negativity MMN becomes stronger. The MMN can be accident by any discriminable auditory changes, and an MMN can be accident without attention to the sound stimuli. So the MMN can be an index of sound discrimination accuracy. And in our recent study, we used MMN as visual feedback was presented for training. In whole training stage, the subjects were asked to ignore the auditory stimuli and pay attention to the visual feedback. As a result, the subjects achieved a significant improvement in the auditory discrimination of putons. Furthermore, discrimination and recognition of speech sound were also improved using MMN neurofeedback. But there are some problems needs to be improved. The first one, beyond contrast of LR, there are all other sounds that native Japanese speakers are difficult to perceive the difference, such as B, V, and STH in English. So we used 9 pairs of stimuli containing 3 contrasts. And the second one, the training time was 210 minutes for each pair of the words. We want to do it in less time, so we reduced the training time from 210 minutes to 48 minutes in this study. The last one, the training in previous study was a little bit boring, so we designed a BCI game. In our experiment, each subject underwent training for 9 days with intervals of at least 24 hours. 9 pairs of stimuli were used in the experiments. There are B, V contrast, and IR contrast, and STH contrast. All subjects had never lived outside Japan. They began studying English in school at about 12 years old. Here it is behavioral auditory ability test, which are performed as a pre-test and a post-test. In discrimination test, the 2 sound stimuli from the same pair were presented to subjects, and they were asked whether 2 sounds were same or not. In recognition test, the single sound was presented to subjects, and they were asked which consultant was presented in the world. And let's move on the training procedure. Please watch this video of the BCI game.
We press the new game button to start a new game. Here we can input the subject ID, training day and study count. We measured the maximum amplitude of MMN beforehand with pure tone. Then we input the value of max MMN here and select the word pair for training. The subjects are instructed to ignore the sounds, only focus on the visual feedback and to try to toss into the bowl. 20 sound stimuli were used to compute the MMN and updated every 800 milliseconds. The ball will be tossed into the bowl when the value of MMN amplitude is larger than threshold value that is set. When artifacts such as blink are detected, the ball was tossed sideways. The score is displayed in the upper right corner of the screen in real time. When subjects toss more than half the balls into the stage. There are 4 stages as the stage progresses, which makes the game more difficult, and is played 12 times a day.
The vertical line shows the accuracy of type, and the horizontal one contrast of sounds. The result revealed that discrimination in each contrast of sound has been significantly improved. And look at the finger B for recognition test. Recognition of B-wave contrast has been significantly improved, and STH contrast has been markedly improved, but there was no significantly difference for LR contrast. This is the discussion. In this study, we develop a BCI game to improve listening ability in foreign language learning. Our result showed that a significant improvement of discrimination was observed not only in contrast of LR, but also in contrast of BV and STH. However, for recognition, also contrast of BV have been significantly improved, and contrast of STH just have been markedly improved. Contrast of LR have been not improved in recognition. We think that it may take more training time to improve recognition because the training time for each pair of words was much less than that in our previous studies, and our future work will focus on implementing it. That's all. Thank you for listening. Ale?
Thank you so much, Dr. Chang.
Oh, thank you.
And any questions, anybody? Okay, I do actually have some questions for you then. So I thought this was very interesting, especially because I always struggle with like L and R actually myself. But like how I feel like recognition is one thing, but then the other thing that's really important is like pronunciation.
Yes.
Right. So like
Yeah.
when you are training anybody, like do you consider like creating another step, which is like pronunciation, like not just for the listening and recognition?
Yeah. The pronunciation training and it not just yet.
でも考えてらっしゃいますか？
No.
No future? Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much. Anybody else? Okay.